It's interesting because this next topic almost begs to say, if it's done correctly, if you are taught and trained and you are made aware of how much influence and power you have, not only being a pretty awesome athlete, but being an awesome person. And I think that's one thing that has to be made known when talking about these different issues. I don't put a color to being good or being bad. And so when you look at the topics that take place and they ensue and the conversations that ensue, I look at it more so from, how have you been taught? What has been the most important components of what the DNA of who you are, the essence of who you are as a person, TJ, and TJ being ironically well placed for our next topic because he has a brother named JJ Watt. Not you, but the other TJ. Yes. All right. And JJ Watt had a speech the other day. We'll play it for you, but I'm interested in what this conversation will entail, because in a lot of ways you're hearing someone who has been dialed in, has been talked to, and has been conditioned to understand what the opportunity is. And we can talk and discuss whether it's genuine, whether it's not, but regardless of what side you fall on, he's in the know as to how to handle himself. And this is one of those classic teaching moments. Let's take a listen to JJ Watt, and then we'll give some reactions on the other side.
You can't go out there and you can't work out. You can't show up on time. You can't practice. You can't want to go out there and win. You shouldn't be here, because this is a privilege. It's the greatest job in the world. You get to go out and play a game. And if you can't care enough, even in week 17, even when you're trash, when you're 4-11, if you can't care enough to go out there and give everything you've got and try your hardest, that's so that's how. There are people every week that still tweet you, that still come up to you and say, hey, we're still rooting for you. We're still behind you. They have no reason whatsoever to. We stink, but they care, and they still want to win, and they still want you to be great. That's why. Those people aren't getting paid. We're getting paid handsomely. That's why. And that's who I feel the most bad for, is our fans and the people who care so deeply in this city, and the people who love it and who truly want it to be great, and it's not. And that sucks as a player, to know that we're not giving them what they deserve.
That was that was JJ Watt speaking and addressing the affairs of what's taking place with his Houston Texans. They have had an abysmal season, and this was his addressing to the state of the union of his fan base. He faced the media, TJ. He faced the media. He's a guy we all know who TJ, or why do I want to keep calling him TJ? We all know who JJ Watt is. He's won Defensive Player of the Year several times. He's been one of the most dominant football players in the game. Will go down as probably one of the best defensive linemen to ever play the game. But in a moment of time where not only his team is vulnerable, but he's vulnerable. He has not been the TJ. There we go. He has not been the JJ Watt that we have wanted him to be throughout the years. You know, it's a tongue tire because you're TJ, and he's JJ, and he has a brother named TJ. Just so we're clear on that, I'm getting stumbled up on this, but he has been vulnerable in terms of not being what we've grown to know of JJ Watt. What is your take on this delivery by JJ Watt?
When I first saw this interview, I thought to myself, like, wow. But the more you think about it, and it was, for me, very initial. Why is he telling the media this? I personally believe if this is how he truly feels, you tell this to your teammates. Wednesday morning, or it could be Monday morning. So for people, Wednesday morning, every Wednesday morning, the coach comes in front of the team and the head coach, and you just kind of gives you the state of the union for the week and the game plan and who we play and how we want to approach this week. J.J. Watt could have gone to Romeo Cornell and said, can I get all the coaches out? I want to talk to the team.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened plenty of times on teams I've been on, and address the team directly. And if there are certain players that you feel are doing what you said, address them directly.
So do you feel like it becomes disingenuous that he's almost, in a way, reprimanding his teammates
through the media? I wouldn't say it's disingenuous. I would say that because he feels this way. But to say this to the media to kind of get his message across, just get your message across. You're the best player on that team defensively. You're going to the Hall of Fame. Everybody on that team knows what you're capable of and what you have done. But for him to go in front of the media, it was almost like, I'm the guy that's working really hard, and not everybody is working as hard as I'm working. I just want to let you guys know this, that I'm trying, but everybody else is not trying as much as I'm trying.
So self-preservation?
Yes. You don't do that. Like, you get up in front of the team because you have the clout. You have the cachet to where you can do that. You're J.J. Watt. And let the team know. And then if you feel like so-and-so isn't doing what he's supposed to do, and you say, no disrespect to anyone, but so-and-so, I need you to give me more. You don't call him out in front of his peers because, as we know, it's grown men. That can turn a different way. But when they know you've put the work in, players, which are grown men, they can take that. If they know J.J. Watt is working his tail off, they can take that and say, you know what, you're right. I'm going to give you more because I haven't been giving it my all. They'll give you more. And so that's the only thing that I don't like. Do it privately. You do not have to go through the media to get your point across to certain teammates, because I guarantee there's a few teammates that he's probably talking about, and he did that just for them. Do it privately.
Does that compromise him as a leader on that team? How should they view him? Like I'll say this: if I'm on that team and I heard that, I honestly, even if I wasn't one of those guys that I felt he was speaking on and having that type of dialogue to the fans about the team, I still would feel compelled to have to go talk to him and be like, look, bro, like, our fans are our fans, and I love our fans as well. And I feel horrible that our team isn't giving a better product than what we are. But this is your family in here. And for as long as they wear the same colors as you do, as long as they have to go to work, as you're saying, as you do,
let's keep it in-house.
Let's keep it like this one, like to that level. You can address the fans in a way where you're supportive.
You and I both know this. The guys on the team, once they saw that interview, the ones that you cool with got on the phone or started texting. They talking about them.
Oh, and not good.
Not good at all.
It's not good.
And people act like that does not happen. No, that happened, bruh. Bro, what's wrong with JJ? What are you doing this for? Like, they talked about him.
Yeah.
Because they don't like this. Just address the team or whomever you're talking about individually. That's what you do.
When the team is, and listen, I've had more than enough seasons where, as the face of a franchise for a few years, that I addressed our fan base. But one thing that I would never do,
you're not going to point the finger.
Not in trying to, and in an attempt to make our fans feel better about us being some trash as a football team, I would not sacrifice my teammates by saying things that could be considered and perceived diminishing what they are, who they are, what they bring to the table. I'd rather offer, solutions. We've got to work to figure this thing out. It's difficult to be losing this way. There are so many different ways you can address your fan base without alienating your teammates or yourself.
He was alienating his teammates and saying, it's not me, it's them.
It's kind of what it kind of sounded like.
And that's the biggest problem. And again, you're J.J. Watt.
You don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that. You just go to the individual or the team, and you can get your same point across. Simple.